name is Francisco and welcome to another edge computing demo using Nuvla. This time we'll be using Nuvla to deploy applications that use GPU present in your Nuvoboxes. Before I continue, let's just review Nuvla and NuvlaBox. Well, Nuvla is an edge-to-cloud management platform and it allows us to manage our applications that are deployed on the edge or the cloud. Nuvobox is a software that allows us to transform an edge device into a smart edge device. This way we can use Nuvla to manage the applications that are deployed onto it. So how can we deploy an application that will use a GPU using Nuvla? As Nuvla and NuvlaBox use Docker to deploy and manage its applications, we need to know how Docker and Docker Compose manage the GPU. Currently, in Docker, there's a flag called --GPU that will parse any or all GPUs available in your device to the container. While on Docker, we have this flag, Docker Compose still hasn't caught up. So, on Docker Compose, we need to map the devices and libraries used by the GPU to the container. This can be very confusing, so to help, Nuvobox has a GPU peripheral manager, which informs you of all GPU information, meaning it tells you the devices, libraries, and other information. Before going into Nuvla, let's take a look at the architecture of our application. In this application, the Nuvobox will use the video stream from the camera and pass it to Darknet, that will use the GPU to classify the image. Darknet is a neural network framework that will classify the video and display the output on the web page. The video output will have a square around the object that the neural network was able to identify, and the label of the object and the certainty of the model. Darknet will use the GPU for the classification, but also for the video capture. This application is deployed from Nuvla to the NuvlaBox. Let's begin. So here we are on Nuvla's dashboard. Let's go to the NuvlaBoxes. The first one, the Jetson Nano, has a GPU in it, so I'm going to use this one. I'm going to scroll down to see the peripherals, and the first peripherals is a GPU, a graphics processing unit. Then scrolling down even further, we see the devices and then eventually the libraries. These are all the devices and libraries that the GPU might use. For the container you might not need to pass them all, but it's good to know where they are. Into the App Store we have a GPU demo. We have the Docker Compose of the GPU demo. You can see the image, the ports, and the devices. So the devices are the GPUs, except the last one, which is the camera. These devices here are especially for the Nvidia Jetson Nano, so you might need to check for your GPU or your device which are the devices that you need to pass. In this case, we are not passing any library files because the container already has the libraries compiled for this GPU. In the URL, we can see that the port is 8090 and the port is exposed on the ports up here. And this is for the video stream. The 8070 is another port for the JSON files, but the 8090 is for the video stream. Now let's launch the application. We're going to select our Nuvobox, the Jetson Nano. We're going to the summary. Let's check connectivity good. Now press launch, and now we're going to wait for the logs. This is going to take a few seconds to start. In the beginning, it's going to load the model, and then after a few seconds, we can deploy it. Now you can see here the output is trying to identify the chairs. I have two chairs there, and in brackets there's the certainty, and I'm going to pass in front of the camera, and it says that I am a person. And now moving back. To sum it up, to deploy an application to your Nuvobox that uses the GPU, due to Docker Compose limitations, you need to specify the devices in your Docker Compose file. You also might need to mount the libraries and volumes, if your container doesn't have them. To make this process easier, you can install Nuvobox with the peripheral GPU manager that will list these devices and libraries. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you.